Well, hi again, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Monsters OT, presented by Century Federal Credit Union, only here on Rock Entertainment Sports Network. Tony Brown here with you. In a moment, we'll hear from my co-host, Brad Tiessen, but a big show coming up for you here. We will have the Breakout with Nick Blasser, a new segment on the program, critically acclaimed. Also coming up, our Monsters Memories segment, and of course, we'll begin the show with headlines and our Monsters mic check and learn more about Monsters assistant coach and former captain, Stefan Matteau. But we'll start the show the way we always do with headlines. All right, welcoming in Brad Tiessen here. Brad, I thought on headlines today we'd begin with the two most recent games for Cleveland. They played really well in a couple of tight matchups against the Providence Bruins here at Rocket Arena on the 7th and 8th of November. So let's begin with that first game. Ended up a 2-1 loss, but I think the first two periods of that game were the best two periods Cleveland has played all year. Yeah, you're not wrong. That was one of the best performances the Monsters have put forth. Just everything was going. They were in the O-zone, spending a lot of time in the O-zone, putting a ton of pucks on net, and unfortunately didn't result in a win, but great energy in that game. I thought both teams, the intensity was really high. It felt almost like a playoff game. Yeah, you want to talk energy, talk about that guy right there, Roman Isham. When he's at his best, he's kind of that spark plug figure, and that was some vintage Roman in that game. Yeah, that was his type of game right there with the like I said, the emotions high. He was running around in on the forecheck, in the penalty box, out of the penalty box, scoring goals, so a little bit of everything for him that night. Yep, and of course, a nice moment for the fans too, as Max McHugh fought Billy Sweezy in a pretty good scrap there in the second period, but the story of the game was all about goaltending. Ivan Fedotov played well, but Mr. Michael DiPietro, your reigning Baz Bastion Award winner, my goodness, he was incredible with 40-plus saves, and to me was the difference in the game. Yeah, he came into that game 5-0, hadn't lost on the year, and he improved on that and showed everyone kind of why he's one of the top goalies in the American Hockey League. Just a real impressive performance, and he was well-deserving of the #1 star. And you see here Max McHugh and Billy Sweezy going at it as you got the old fan favorite, the current fan favorite there. Good stuff. Great crowds as well for both of those games. But let's talk a little bit more about Providence and just give the viewer a sense of how good these guys are. They are stacked with talent this year. Yeah, that forward lineup that they have is probably as good as any. And even though they were without a couple guys due to call-ups on that weekend, they have guys that can put the puck in the net at any moment. And then obviously their goaltending has been real strong for them to start the season. All right, so that was a 2-1 loss for Cleveland in that game. We'll roll into the next day, which was a matinee start, a 1 p.m. start, and a 3-2 overtime loss for the Monsters here. But this was a game in which we saw flashes of some things we've been waiting for, including offense from Will Butcher, as he ended up with a couple of points in his first goal as a Monster. Yeah, Will Butcher has added a lot of smarts to this hockey team, just does everything the right way. Knows where everyone is on the ice. Great job here jumping up into the play and being involved in the offense. And for a team that's not scoring goals to be able to have help from the back end is huge. And also Brendan Gaunce, of course, the captain, leading the way with a power play goal. That's a big thing for a team that's struggling to score, Tease. Got to get the power play going, and it was nice to see Gaunce find the net. Yeah, and as you see here, this goal, nothing special. It's Mikhail Pucha in front of the net. You got Brendan Gaunce putting the puck towards it, and then goalie can't see it, and is able to find the back of the net. So hopefully that gives that group a little lift of confidence. Yeah, Monsters looking sharp too in those redesigned Blue Jackets themed alternate jerseys there, which I think look awesome. Big hit with the fans. Let's also talk about Zach Sawchenko a little bit, as the Monsters' #2 goaltender was in for that matinee start on the 8th of November and played pretty well. Made 18 saves, definitely gave his team a chance. Yeah, he did, and all 3 starts he's had this year, he's given the team a chance. It's not either easy for him or Ivan right now with the low amount of shots that the Monsters are giving up. Credit to them defensively, but as a goalie, it's not always easy to kind of get in the rhythm and the flow of the game when you're not seeing a lot of pucks and all of a sudden getting good opportunities. So they're doing a good job right now. Yeah, 9 games this season, and in 7 of those games, including both games in that most recent series against Providence, the Monsters outshot their opponent. And in that first game on the 7th, man, they outshot them handily. So that's becoming a theme for Cleveland this year. So unfortunately, only 1 out of 4 standings points out of that series against Providence, but a really good team, a really good test, and really, despite the lack of results, the lack of goals too, some really good play from Cleveland in both of those games. Let's keep things moving now on headlines as we talk about a couple of players that are not available for Cleveland at the present moment because they're called up to the Blue Jackets in the National Hockey League, and we'll begin with Dyson Mayo. Tease, he was called up right before Halloween there, and he's gotten into a couple of games for the Blue Jackets, and he's a guy that Cleveland is missing on the back end for sure, but it's nice to see him get a chance after a few seasons spent in the AHL.
Yeah, it's cool to see guys like that get those opportunities, especially coming to a new organization, new NHL team, a fresh set of eyes, and for him getting that opportunity to go up to Columbus, play games in the NHL with them, exciting opportunity for him.
Yeah, and you can see his impact in Cleveland there with the stats, almost a point per game guy in his first handful of appearances for the Monsters this year. So all the best to Dyson Mayo as he continues to compete with the Jackets up top. And then also, he's not the only guy. A big loss for the forward group of Cleveland is Columbus's gain in the form of all-star Luca Del Bel-Belluz, who was called up, and with the lines combination sort of shifting in Columbus right now, he's getting a chance to play and produce.
Yeah, he is, and obviously coming off of last year when he did put up some points in Columbus, getting that opportunity again here this year, and he's fitting in well. As we record this, watched him play Edmonton last year at night and follow Connor McDavid around in the D zone, which is entertaining to see, but he's doing a great job up there with the Blue Jackets.
So all the best to Dyson and to Luca here as they, live their NHL dreams. That's where these guys want to be. They've earned the right to be there, and so we wish them all the very best. All right, Tease, let's get into some topics now that are perhaps on the negative side of the ledger here a little bit. But, factually speaking, the Monsters still without a victory at home this season. That's the bad news. The good news is, however, the attendance has been incredible, 11,000 plus on average. In fact, over 11,400 fans per game at Rocket Arena this year. That is 2,000 fans on average more than the second place team in the attendance rankings right now. That's the Laval Rocket. So Cleveland, again, just dominating, and this support is so great. Monsters, I know, want to win for these fans on home ice.
Yeah, an incredible crowd so far this season. Fans have come out and supported the Monsters, which has been awesome. There's nothing more the guys would love to do than give them some wins, and not for a lack of effort, especially this past weekend. Thought they deserved better than just the 1 point out of those two games. So the wins will come.
Yeah, at this point, 0-2, 2-1, so 3 standings points earned at home. But the team playing really well. It's sort of a confounding situation in that the results maybe haven't been there necessarily, but Cleveland is playing the way they want to play. Let's now talk about the scoring struggles a little bit, Brad, because they are rather pronounced now with the sample size growing a little bit here. At this point in the season, Cleveland has scored only 18 combined goals. That's 31st in a 32-team AHL, 2 goals per game. That needs to improve.
Yeah, it does, and not for a lack of effort or shot or try. There's a lot of shots on net per game. Need more traffic, need more bodies getting to that front of the net in those dirty areas, but you can feel it coming, and once these guys start to get the puck in the back of the net, I think getting that confidence, it'll start to happen more often.
Yeah, maybe it's not the worst thing to, especially if you feel good about the way you're playing, go through a drought like this, which happens to every team throughout the year, but to get over it early, maybe that's not the worst thing in the world. Also, the power play right now, under 11%, just 5 for 46 combined to this point in the season, so that's another area the team is going to look to improve. But now to the good news. Let's talk about the way this team is defending right now as they've emerged as one of the top 10 defensive teams, maybe top 5 across the AHL. Only allowed 23 goals, that's 4th fewest, and their goals allowed per game, 2.5. That's about in the neighborhood you want to be.
Yeah, it is, and a lot of that defending comes from being in the offensive end a lot of the game right now. The Monsters controlling the play, controlling the puck, not giving the opposition any chance to be on the offense themselves. So Monsters have done a good job of that, and that's a full 5-man unit on the ice, being really responsible defensively.
And what I love, too, is limiting opponents to under 24 shots per game. I mean, that's outstanding. It's the second best mark in the league. So Cleveland certainly doing a lot of things well at the start of the season and finding a way to earn standings points even in these games where they don't find a way to win by playing on into overtime and shootouts, etc. So great on the defensive side, some room for improvement up front for Cleveland, and we'll sort of monitor those themes as we go throughout the year. Before we stop on headlines here, Brad, let's look at the North Division standings at this early juncture in the season. The Laval Rocket, they have surged now into first place, or tied for first with Syracuse at 8-4-0. You've got Rochester, a really good start to their season too with 16 points as well. Then Toronto, Belleville, you see Cleveland right now in 6th place in the division, and another tough start for Utica. But a lot of teams close together. This is a good division.
It is a good division, and as you can see here, Cleveland with the lack of games so far compared to some of these other teams. So time is on their side to make up some points here and make up some some room in the standings with extra games in hand.
A little bit early to be talking about games in hand, but Cleveland does have some games in hand on the rest of the division. All right, that's it for headlines. Let's now get into our Monsters mic check here. We'll hear from Monsters players and coaches, and let's begin with the conversation that Jock Callender and I had with Will Butcher from the game on the 8th of November in which he scored his first goal as a Monster. Let's check it out. Will, take us through that goal, your first as a Monster.
Yeah, I think it just started with a breakout. Ole did a good job supporting me, popped it middle, and then just tried to get up in the place. And Pierce made a great read, heard me screaming for it, gave it back to him. Pin said he kicked it on purpose, but I think we all know it just kind of carried off his foot laughing about it, and just try to get it on net.
Yeah, Will, Jock here. How are you and your family enjoying your short stay so far in Cleveland?
I love it. We're originally from the Midwest, so it feels like home here. So it's a super great community. Love where we're at in the spot down in Rocky River, so we're really enjoying it.
How about this building? Rocket Arena, loud. It feels like the big leagues in here, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah, and some I would say even better than some places in the big leagues. The crowd's great. The fans are the best I've seen in the AHL, so it's pretty cool to experience it.
Good stuff there from Will Butcher, and I love hearing a player appreciate what Cleveland has to offer, what Rocket Arena has to offer, what the fans have to offer. Remember, Will Butcher was overseas last year, back in North America, and he seems like he's happy here.
Yeah, it's especially for these veteran players with families coming to a city like Cleveland, it's a really easy city to love and like, and especially the fans, the organization, playing in this environment. It's a great opportunity for them.
Now let's hear from Trent Vogelhuber as we spoke to him prior to the game on the 7th of November there, just about some of the things we were talking about in headlines, the struggle to score, but the way that the team is playing well defensively.
We're working hard. We're defending well. We just have to work hard for our goals right now, and we got a lot of time to evaluate our games. And we're coming back with we can do a little bit better jobs holding the net front a little bit longer to make it tough on the goalies. But there's not a whole lot, especially on the offensive standpoint, which is what stands out as a weakness of our team, that we need to change because we're just getting chances and they're not going in. I think we're shooting at an extremely low percentage, around 3 as a team. So you're coaching the process right now, and overwhelmingly it's good.
You know, it's a tough thing for coaches, right, Brad? You want to stay committed to teaching that process that Trent was talking about there, but at the same time, you want to win these games. You want to get the result too, but you really have to focus on development.
Yeah, you do, and I know it's tough for the coaches. You want those points, and you know the team's doing the right things, but they're not getting the results. So trying to preach patience and continue to stay with that process and stick with it, and the results will come.
Yes, they certainly will. Time for a break now on Monsters OT. When we come back, we'll learn more about the transition Stefan Matteau made this year from captain to assistant coach. That and more coming right up on Monsters OT, presented by Century Federal Credit Union on Rock Sports. Welcome back on Monsters OT, presented by Century Federal Credit Union here on Rock Sports. A lot of shows still to come, but right now it's time to learn about Stefan Matteau. Now, Monster fans remember him as the guy that wore the C last season, but this year he's got a new role as an assistant coach, and that comes hot on the heels of his retirement as a player.
Back to Dumais behind the net, left circle, fire, they score! The captain's back in the goal column. It's Stefan Matteau.
13 seasons and over 500 pro games. That's how long Stefan Matteau battled on the ice. But this summer, the ride came to an end for the outgoing Monsters captain.
You know, unfortunately, the body didn't hold up anymore, and you know, I'm very grateful to not have too much time to think about it, and stepping back into the room with the guys that I know and I love, and I'm here to help, and I'm super grateful to be here.
The good news? You didn't have to wait long to find out what's next.
I mean, it all happened so fast, right? Like they gave me the opportunity to come kind of shadow and hang and tag along during development camp this summer, and fortunately for me, Mark Protestu got the opportunity in Colorado, so that job opened up, and me being there and having played here for a few years kind of just worked itself out.
Cleveland's coaching staff knows what Matteau brings to the room.
It just made so much sense for him, and again, kind of unfortunate for him with the injuries as far as his playing career goes, but timing of that with the availability of a coaching position on our staff, and a guy that's beloved in that locker room, has a trust from all the players within there, knows what we're about and what the expectations are.
This year, Matteau knows he's got a key resource just down the bench, as his head coach leapt straight from playing to coaching too.
His transition was even quicker. He was in gear one day and in tracksuit the next, and running a meeting 2 days later. So he's had the patience for me, and you know, fortunately I've had a few months now to get the computer set up and figure that stuff out and see the game from a different lens, where as a player you're so worried about your own job, and now I kind of see the whole thing, which, you know, I wish I kind of went through earlier in my career, but it's been great, and he's been great.
Well, I think that's such a cool storyline this year. Stefan Matteau making that switch, and of course Trent Vogelhuber, all the wisdom that he can provide to Steph. As you found out in the piece there, he went through that same transition not too long ago. Well, before we take another break here on Monsters OT, I want to quickly remind you guys, you can catch the Monsters all season long here on Rock Sports, and this year we've got a club record 26 games on TV. Next up, a couple of Cleveland Barons nights versus the mighty Hershey Bears, live from Rocket Arena Thursday, November the 20th, and then Saturday, November the 22nd at 7. Go to clevelandmonsters.com for the full schedule, and check out all the info on our audio broadcasts too on Sports Radio 99.1, WTAM 1100, and lots more. We'll take another quick break, and when we come back, Nick Blasser takes us through the breakout. After this on Monsters OT, presented by Century Federal Credit Union. Back on Monsters OT, we are brought to you by Century Federal Credit Union here on Rock Sports. He's Brad Tiessen, I'm Tony Brown. But right now it's time for the Breakout with Monsters digital content coordinator Nick Blasser. And this is a fun segment where Nick hits Brad and I with a whole bunch of questions that we don't know are coming. So Nick, welcome to the show. Good to have you. What do you have in the Breakout today?
Yeah, appreciate it, Tony. So we took to our Instagram story yesterday, see what the fans, some topics and questions they wanted to toss at you. First one, we'll start with you, Brad, is just what rookie has been your favorite to watch this season so far and why?
For me, I think it's Guillaume Richard on the back end. I think coming from last year, the playoffs, how well he played, was really excited about to see what he could do coming into this year, and he's jumped on the number one pair with Brendan Smith and being a real anchor there on the back end, which is not easy for a rookie to do right away.
I'm going to go with Jack Williams on this one because he scored a couple of big goals, but he's also already shown his versatility. He's played in the middle, he's played on the wing, he's played all over the depth chart. So I think he's been outstanding, and you can see that his coaching staff already trusts him as a rookie player.
And then for question 2 of 3, we have the upcoming Thanksgiving holiday coming up, and there's a lot of travel around the holidays in professional sports. So whether you've been working, coaching, playing, what is something teams do if they're on the road for the Thanksgiving holiday?
I feel like we had a Thanksgiving on the road years back in Grand Rapids, I want to say, right? Do you remember that one?
It was with Mads, and somebody got called up from that dinner.
That's right.
In the middle of dinner, they got the call up to the Blue Jackets. But yeah, generally, if you're on the road with the team will set up a Thanksgiving dinner at the hotel or somewhere around town, and just trying to make it a family-style event because you're away on the road.
Yeah, play cards, hang out. It's not easy. That's one of the challenges of life in pro sports. But it's fun to be with the guys, and that sort of thing can bring the team together. So you got to find the silver linings in those situations.
And then to wrap things up, this one's going to kind of put you two on the spot a bit. Some short-term thinking here is if you had to build the ultimate Cleveland Monsters starting 3 forwards, who are you putting on your line?
All right, Trey Fix-Wolanski.
Yeah,
all right, I took the easy one. You're up.
That's an easy one. Let's go back, and I'm going to put Josh Anderson on the line. A little bit of physicality, a little bit of speed.
Okay. I'm going to throw, just out of respect here, for the record book, let's put Andrew Agozzino up there, too, because he held a bunch of these records for many, many years. He predates even my time with the Monsters, but the numbers speak for themselves. And then honorable mention, let's go Justin Scott, huh? I mean, Mr. Monster. He certainly was here a long time, made a huge impact. Scotty's the man. There you go. That's Nick Blasser, the Breakout. Quick and easy today. Nick, you can test us with some of these. It's okay. Good stuff, though. That's Nick Blasser, Monsters digital content coordinator. He brought us the Breakout, and now a quick break. We'll be back with more Monsters OT next on Rock Sports. Welcome back one final time on Monsters OT, presented by Century Federal Credit Union here on Rock Sports. Back with Brad Tiessen, Tony Brown here with you. Last thing to do on the show is our Monsters Memories segment here, and this was a recent memory, but a cool one for hockey fans in Northeast Ohio, as Brad, on the 6th of November here at Rocket Arena, they had a chance to see the top 2 women's hockey teams on the planet, Team USA and Team Canada. And as a Canadian, I'd like to apologize for the 4-1 American win, but in front of 7,000 fans. It was a great day. Taylor Heisey had 4 points. Abby Murphy had a natural hat trick. Layla Edwards, who's from Cleveland Heights, was on the score sheet. And of course, 26 saves from Aaron Franklin, a big win for the Americans. Just a cool chance for hockey fans to see something different, Olympic level women's hockey here in Cleveland.
Yeah, very cool. Both teams also spent the week practicing out in Strongsville, so we got a chance to see their preparations and just the skill level that these ladies have. Pretty cool to see, an awesome opportunity to have them here in Cleveland.
Yeah, and Abby Murphy scored all 3 of those goals from the same spot on the ice. So Brad, you got to work with the Canadian goalies here, getting from left to right over to that near post. Anyway, just kidding. Great stuff there. The rivalry series was super cool, and I hope all of you had a chance to get out and enjoy those top 2 women's teams on planet Earth. Well, that'll do it for another edition of Monsters OT, and we've got a lot of thank yous to hand out. To Nick Blasser for a great spin through the breakout again, to our crew led by Leo Simone and Jeremy Hawks, and of course, thanks to Century Federal Credit Union. Brad, thanks to you as well. He's Brad Tiessen, I'm Tony Brown, and thanks to you for tuning in only here to Monsters OT on Rock Sports.